Hell yeah.
Matt, what was your favorite part from episode 4 of Loki?
Um. So mine had to be Mobius, like the scene where Mobius frees Loki, and it's revealed that the rest of the TVA is kind of like waiting for them, like the jig is up.
Yep.
So and Mobius has to like stand up to Ravonna Renslayer, which is also I finally figured out that's what her name was, and it's the coolest fucking name ever. And but like the entire episode, you like watch him slowly uncover the truth based off of what Loki like said to him,
Yeah.
and that entire sequence is really compelling to me because the entire time Mobius has kind of almost been that beacon of humanity
Hmm.
for the show. It's like he's just a person that wants to do right by
Whatever the
the world
order
around
is.
him. Exactly, and those that are closest to him, and you see that through his, he's really concerned about what happened to C20, and
Hmm.
when he uncovers that truth, that kind of like solidifies it.
Yeah, that was
So
a
when
nice
he,
moment. I thought when the how he broke down finding the truth and he went through all these elements, and you could
yeah,
see in the back of his head he was still like, I don't know if I could trust this Loki, but there was just some type of push in the universe telling him just trust your instinct, which is interesting.
exactly, and I think that a big hint at that was when he refers to the other variant as Sylvie in his conversation with Ravonna. You know, she's like Sylvie, like, oh, it's the other variant's name. Like that's kind of him. That's like a hint at him that truth.
Right.
So that scene was like really good, and then he comes and helps Loki. He says some great words to him. But my favorite part, was when the jig is up and they like all got the pruning sticks out, and he says, and the line where he says, you know where I could go if I could go anywhere, and that's like a callback to his conversation, but with Ravonna earlier, and he says, wherever it is I'm really from, and like that gives me chills even saying it, but it was such a beautifully defining moment for the character.
Yeah.
And what happens after that fucked me up like real bad. So that just that
Well, this
moment
is
of
a
him kind of
spoilers
standing the
episode, so
face.
you could tell them what happened.
Okay.
Yeah.
So like literally right after that he is pruned by the TVA, which up until this point we thought was his death. That's when they stick you with the sticks and you
Yeah.
evaporate. So we're like, he just stood up for himself and what he believed in and his friend, and then he died as a result of that.
Well, we don't
So that was
actually
just like,
know.
well, yeah, that's what I was doing the
Yeah. Well,
quotations.
he could
I
be
think
dead.
that is true,
We
but I
don't know.
think, but that part for me was just like,
Yeah.
that was a heartwarming moment. What about yourself?
Yeah, so my favorite part for this was with Hunter B15. I thought, well, this is one of my favorite parts of the show. I thought she did an amazing acting job in that scene where you see her and Sylvie, and Sylvie's like kind of. It's funny because you chose a similar situation, but with
Yeah,
Mobius. But for me, it was like you saw her uncovering, and we hadn't seen anything but this like brute soldier up until that point.
yeah,
So it was really cool to see like this side character get a chance to really show their acting chops.
yeah.
And I heard some people say it was kind of a callback to Blade Runner, where she's in the rain and she's there's tears, but you can't tell if it's tears or
Oh
rain.
my God. I didn't even get that. That's one of my favorite scenes of all time.
Yeah,
Fuck.
yeah,
God
yeah.
damn. And it all has to do with memories too, which is
Right,
fucking wild.
right.
Shout out
So
to them. God damn.
yeah, so that was a really cool moment for me, and even though we couldn't see those memories, like you could feel the emotion going through her like body, and you kind of like it felt like for me, I was like in my head, the memories I saw was like her and her mother or something, and like being
Yeah.
close with her family and like eating a meal or something like that, and I'm sure everyone had their own, and I thought it was a cool cinematic moment because I was like, typically in books you get that where you get to imagine your own version
Hmm.
of it, or when a TV show or movie leaves you on a cliffhanger, you kind of get to complete the ending. But I thought that was cool that in that moment we all got to kind of decide what were those memories that she was reminiscing on.
Indeed. Yeah, I
and
agree.
and then from just a plot standpoint, I really liked when Mobius told Loki that he can be whoever he wants and he doesn't have to be bad. I
Yeah.
thought that was nice as well because that's been my long-standing theory that like I don't think all Lokis are bad. I think it's actually the opposite. They all start bad potentially and then they end up good. And this kind
Mm,
of put a little bit of more salt into that theory that I got going on. And that was
Yeah, no, I think that was a good one.
and one part that kind of confused me with that though was when Mobius was saying you could turn into anyone or whoever, and we'll get into that a little bit later with the predictions. But
Yeah.
that scene was definitely the defining scene, and it seems that you liked it as well. Uh,
Agreed, yeah, and to quickly touch on your thing, I loved how two characters could come to the same resolution but separately.
right.
They didn't really like he only said the one thing about yeah, Loki said the TVA is all variant or like the TVA is lying to us.
Yeah.
And then B-15 goes off and does her own thing. The agency that they've given these characters was something you don't usually see, so it's pretty
Yeah.
awesome.
All right. So that was our favorite parts from Loki episode 4. Comment below. Let us know what you
Woo!
think. Subscribe and send to your friend.